The Korean peninsula juts out from the Asian mainland, a landmass shaped by millennia of history. Korea boasts a rich and vibrant culture. Its people have shown resilience in the face of adversity. From ancient kingdoms to modern tensions, Korea's story is one of perseverance, innovation, and a continual search for unity. We will explore the major dynasties and events that have shaped this nation. The peninsula has served as a cultural bridge between China and Japan, absorbing influences while developing its own unique identity. From the Three Kingdoms period to the Joseon dynasty, Korea witnessed remarkable advancements in art, literature, science, and governance. However, Korea's strategic location also made it vulnerable to foreign invasions and influence. Despite these challenges, the Korean spirit remained unbroken.
The Three Kingdoms period, spanning from 57 BCE to 668 CE, is a pivotal era in Korean history. During this time, three major kingdoms emerged as dominant powers: Goguryeo, Baekje, and Silla. These kingdoms engaged in constant warfare, vying for control of the peninsula. Each kingdom developed its own distinct culture, art, and political systems. Goguryeo, located in the north, was known for its military prowess and expansive territory. Baekje, in the southwest, excelled in maritime trade and diplomacy, establishing strong ties with China and Japan. Silla, initially the weakest of the three, rose to prominence through strategic alliances and military reforms. The rivalry between these kingdoms shaped the political and cultural landscape of the Korean peninsula. In 668 CE, Silla, allied with the Tang dynasty of China, conquered Baekje and Goguryeo, unifying the Korean peninsula under its rule for the first time in centuries. The unified Silla period, from 668 to 935 CE, marked an era of relative peace and stability, fostering cultural and economic growth. Buddhism flourished, becoming a central pillar of Korean society. Silla's influence extended beyond the peninsula, engaging in trade and diplomacy with neighboring countries. However, internal strife and regional rebellions weakened Silla's grip on power, leading to its eventual collapse in the late 9th century. From the ashes of unified Silla arose the later Three Kingdoms period, with later Goguryeo, later Baekje, and later Silla vying for supremacy. This period of division was short-lived, with later Goguryeo, also known as Taebong, ultimately prevailing and establishing the Goryeo dynasty in 918 CE. The Goryeo dynasty, from 918 to 1392 CE, marked another significant chapter in Korean history. In 1392, General Yi Seong-gye, later King Taedo, seized power and established the Joseon dynasty, which would rule Korea for over 5 centuries. The Joseon dynasty, from 1392 to 1910, is considered a transformative period in Korean history, marked by significant cultural, social, and technological advancements. The Joseon rulers adopted Confucianism as the state ideology, emphasizing social order, hierarchy, and education. This era witnessed the creation of Hangul, the Korean alphabet, by King Sejong the Great in 1443. Hangul, a phonetic writing system, revolutionized literacy in Korea, making it easier for people to learn to read and write. The Joseon dynasty also saw advancements in science, technology, and the arts. However, the latter part of the Joseon dynasty was marked by political factionalism, social unrest, and foreign intrusions, ultimately leading to its decline.
Section 5. Japanese occupation, a dark shadow over Korea. The late 19th and early 20th centuries were tumultuous times for Korea, as it became entangled in the geopolitical struggles of East Asia. Japan, undergoing rapid modernization and militarization, sought to expand its influence in the region, viewing Korea as a strategic stepping stone to the Asian mainland. In 1910, following years of political maneuvering and military pressure, Japan formally annexed Korea, beginning a brutal period of colonial rule that would last for 35 years. The Japanese colonial administration implemented policies aimed at assimilating Korea into the Japanese Empire, suppressing Korean culture, language, and national identity. Koreans were forced to adopt Japanese names, speak the Japanese language, and worship at Shinto shrines. The colonial government exploited Korea's resources and labor, extracting rice, minerals, and other raw materials to fuel Japan's wartime industrial machine. Despite the brutal conditions, Koreans never relinquished their desire for independence, engaging in various forms of resistance, both at home and abroad.
Section 6. Division and War, the Korean Peninsula torn apart. The end of World War II in 1945 brought about the defeat of Japan but did not bring peace to the Korean Peninsula. Instead, Korea found itself caught in the emerging Cold War rivalry between the United States and the Soviet Union. As the Allied powers divided the Korean Peninsula along the 38th parallel, with the Soviet Union administering the North and the United States administering the South, the stage was set for a tragic conflict that would further divide the Korean people. Two separate states emerged, each reflecting the ideological leanings of their respective sponsors. In the north, Kim Il-sung, a communist guerrilla leader backed by the Soviet Union, established a totalitarian regime, the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. In the south, Syngman Rhee, an anti-communist leader supported by the United States, became the president of the Republic of Korea. The war raged for 3 years, resulting in millions of casualties and widespread devastation.
Section 7. The Rise of Kim Il-sung and the Workers' Party of Korea. As the dust settled on the Korean War, which ended in an armistice in 1953, but without a formal peace treaty, the Korean Peninsula remained divided, with a heavily fortified demilitarized zone, or DMZ, separating the two Koreas. In North Korea, Kim Il-sung consolidated his power, establishing a personality cult that permeated every aspect of society. The Workers' Party of Korea, under Kim's iron-fisted rule, implemented a rigid system of communist governance, suppressing dissent and isolating the country from the outside world. Kim Il-sung's ideology, known as Juche, emphasized self-reliance and Korean nationalism. Under Juche, North Korea pursued a policy of autarky, prioritizing self-sufficiency over international trade and cooperation. Despite the economic challenges, Kim Il-sung invested heavily in the military, developing North Korea's military capabilities and pursuing nuclear weapons. Kim's pursuit of nuclear weapons would become a major source of international tension in the decades to come.
Section 8. North Korea's Nuclear Ambitions, a Global Threat. North Korea's pursuit of nuclear weapons has been a source of global concern for decades. Kim Il-sung, convinced that nuclear weapons were essential for the survival of his regime, initiated North Korea's nuclear program in the 1960s. After years of research and development, aided by clandestine assistance from countries like Pakistan, North Korea conducted its first nuclear test in 2006, sending shockwaves through the international community. Under Kim Jong-il, who succeeded his father in 1994, and later Kim Jong-un, who came to power in 2011, North Korea continued to develop its nuclear and ballistic missile capabilities, conducting multiple nuclear tests and test-launching increasingly sophisticated missiles. These actions have been met with widespread condemnation and sanctions from the United Nations Security Council. The international community has struggled to find effective ways to deter North Korea's nuclear ambitions, with diplomatic efforts often met with intransigence.
Section 9. Human Rights in North Korea, a Bleak Reality. North Korea has one of the worst human rights records in the world. Under the Kim dynasty's totalitarian rule, the North Korean people have been subjected to systematic and widespread human rights abuses. Freedom of speech, assembly, religion, and the press are non-existent. The government maintains absolute control over all aspects of life, from education and employment to housing and healthcare. The North Korean government operates a vast network of political prisons, known as Kwanliso, where an estimated 80,000 to 120,000 political prisoners are held in horrific conditions. Prisoners are subjected to torture, forced labor, starvation, and summary executions. Defectors from North Korea have provided harrowing testimonies about the brutality of the regime, describing widespread malnutrition, lack of access to medical care, and a climate of fear that permeates every aspect of society.
Section 10, Conclusion, a future yet to be written. The Korean Peninsula stands as a stark reminder of the enduring legacies of the Cold War and the human cost of division. From its ancient origins as a land of three kingdoms to its modern-day division and the nuclear threat posed by North Korea, Korea's history is a complex tapestry woven from threads of resilience, innovation, conflict, and the enduring hope for unification. The path towards peace and reunification on the Korean peninsula is fraught with obstacles. The deep ideological divide between North and South Korea, the legacy of mistrust and animosity, and the complexities of denuclearizing North Korea present formidable challenges. However, the human cost of division and the shared cultural heritage of the Korean people serve as powerful motivators for seeking peaceful solutions. The future of Korea is yet to be written. Whether the peninsula will remain divided or find a path towards peaceful coexistence and reunification remains to be seen.